Welcome back to Sawdust and Brushstrokes. Today I'm going to be doing some more flower watercolors. I've been asked to do a painting of Lily of the Valley and violets together. So that's what my next project will be. All right, so I'm about to get started. I have several different pictures of violets and Lily of the Valleys. And I'm just going to take, like I do each time, bits and pieces from each one. And let me just say that today is beautiful. It's almost 80 degrees and the wind is blowing. It's just a beautiful day. So I have lots of light right now to work on it. I'm using this Canson watercolor paper, 9 by 12 inch paper. When I'm drawing out my pictures, I draw it really lightly. Take my time. If I don't like it, it's okay to erase and start over. But one of the keys is to draw lightly, not too dark, because it's harder to erase the lines afterwards if you draw too dark. To make it easier to get the look that I'm wanting, I'm going to use masking fluid. It's this right here. What I'm going to do is all of the flowers that have leaves behind them, I'm going to mask out. I'll paint it on and let it dry, and when it's dry I can paint the leaves without having to worry about leaving these spaces white. While I let the masking fluid dry, I'll show you my new brushes that I got. I had been using this craft brush that I had for a while that I really liked, but I knew I was going to be needing some more brushes, so I got these. Let's see, I think the company, I think it's Zim Brush. It was on here somewhere. There it is right there. Zim Brush. I got it off of Amazon. And then I also, in another package came this, I got a Winsor & Newton 000 brush. It's the smallest one I could find. Let's see if I can get that to focus. I don't know if I can. Very small. Use that a lot, I'm sure. So that way my new favorite fine point one. And then I got some different sizes to use. When I'm using the masking fluid, I don't use one of my nicer brushes. I use an old brush. So I'll make my old favorite brush my masking fluid brush now. All right, so now I'm going to focus on painting the leaves, just the big leaves behind, the ones that are part of the Lily of the Valley. Alright, so I finished the leaves. So I painted the background color of the leaves, and then I did a few details after it dried of the veins on each leaf. Now I'm going to take the masking fluid off, and what I do is I just kind of rub at it, and you can see a little film comes off. And look how nice and clean it is underneath. I love masking fluid. Honestly, I have not used it since I was a teenager. I took a few years of art lessons when I was a teenager, young teenager. Actually, I started when I was maybe about 11, 10 or 11. And our teacher taught us how to use masking fluid. But I don't get much time to paint with my watercolors much these days, and so I haven't even purchased many things that I used to use. But then as I was doing this, I was like, man, I could really use masking fluid, because otherwise you have to be really careful around everything, and you can't get the paint real smooth if you are constantly worried about going around everything. So masking fluid is very useful. But I'm so glad that I've been taking the time to paint again, because watercolors is it is my very favorite way to paint, for sure. So that's all it took. Now it's all clean and ready to start on the flowers. Okay, for the buds that hadn't opened, I started with a light green color, let it dry, and then I did the details with a darker green. And I also did the stems that way. And then the bulbs that had opened, I used a light gray for the shadows, and just left the white paper kind of for the highlights, watered down the gray in certain parts, and just worked on each flower until I got it just the way I wanted it. And then on the inside, when you can see the middle, I would add a little yellow. For the violet stems, I used a darker green. As I started to paint the petals of the violets, the inside of the petals, I started out a really deep blue, and then I watered down the rest of the petal, and then added a reddish purple to the tips of them. In the middle of the violets, I added yellow and a little bit of orange. After all the paint is dry, I go and erase all the pencil lines. And then the last step is to sign my name. It's all finished, and I love how it turned out. I love the deep purples, and the Lily of the Valley I love how it turned out as well. It looks like I just went out into the field and picked them. I think it turned out really good. I'm pleased with it. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope to start on my next project, another frame that I'm going to refinish from a thrift store. So join me next time, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share my channel if you like what you saw. Thank you.